Angels Sewing and Quilting, and it's Wednesday. We are doing Stitches and Stories, and tonight I'm really excited because we have another story. And I know a lot of you out there were really looking forward to this tonight. So um, we will be talking with Alice, our very own Alice, talking about her class that she took in Connecticut with Pamela on the Palmer Pletch method. So we're going to get to that in just a couple minutes. I just wanted to show you a couple of things. And also, when we get near the end, I'll also do a trivia. And I'm going to give away this. I just got this today. And you know what? I've been canceling them because I just have too many. I subscribe to, some fabrics of the month or all these crazy things. And I'm like, Carol, yeah, I'm just never going to get to them. So, and then, I'll get one in and I'm like, oh no, maybe I will, but anyway, so I decided today this came in, and I know a lot of you out there are going to really like this. So it's this. It's this fabric. I don't know how much is in here, but there's a bit in here. So I'm going to be giving that away. I'm going to have a trivia near the end, and there you go. Then I just wanted to, as a reminder, all the time we have tons of classes coming up. Alice is going to go over near the end of Palmer Pletch, talking to you about her classes she has coming up and explaining them maybe a little, or whatever. I knew Linda would be on, Alice. I knew it. I said, she's definitely coming on. I'm very excited for this. But I wanted to show you now. Anybody out there know any cotton and steel fabric? Do you guys know about cotton and steel? Rifle Paper Company. Well, we are going to be getting some in, and I'm so excited about it. So I have some. Everybody, I think, really recognizes this. This is, I think, one of the more popular ones. And then here's another one. I'm actually doing a bag. And if Beth or Louisa is listening, I am working on a bag because we're gonna be doing a bag class. So I'm making my bag out of this material. So yeah, I hope you guys really like it. They also have it. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, see, this is like the bigger print. This is like the bigger print, and then they have the smaller print with it. So what do you guys think of that? I love this. I love this. Okay. I think we're ready. I'm going to click, and I'm going to have Alice come on, and we are going to talk about her class that she did at, let me put a 2A here. Actually, no, we don't need a 2A. I can be on the bottom. How do I do that? Hold on. Yeah, there, I did that. Beautiful. So yeah, so if there's a question, Alice, I'll just kind of go like that, and you'll catch the.
Okay, yeah, I can see a little bit at the top. The last one, I think.
Okay. So everybody that is tuning in, and maybe I'm pretty sure most of you know Alice, but if you don't know Alice, this is Alice, and she's our famous lesson teacher at Angels. I still have no idea how she does that, but she can man that room like nobody else. You're pretty amazing. So we had sent Alice about 3 weeks ago, right? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, something like that, to a Palmer Pletch teacher certification. And I know nothing about it. I know it has something to do with fitting and the dress form and stuff like that. So Alice, you take it away, and you tell us all about it.
All right. So just a little bit of history of the Palmer Pletch. I will have an intro class coming up, and I'm going to schedule it for the beginning of May. It's not on the calendar yet, but will be soon, which I'll go into more detail than I will tonight, but I'll give you kind of an overview of what it's about and what we did in my 5-day intensive. It was like 9 to 6. My brain was full every day. So one comment I liked on one of the Palmer Pletch is, if you have clothes that fit you well, then you lose 20 pounds just by having your clothes fit you nicely. So some people like to wear their clothes big and baggy, but they really look better if they fit you well. And then, you know, sometimes we buy clothes that fit you in certain parts of your body, but they're too big in other places. Like generally the shoulders are too big if we get stuff that fits us elsewhere. So anyway, this method, it's called a tissue fitting method, the Palmer Pletch. It was developed by Patty Palmer and Susan Pletch. Patty bought out Susan Pletch back in the 90s. So this is how long it's been going on. They developed from teaching fitting over the years. They developed a method. So this method uses a tissue fitting method. So the only measuring really you need to do is the upper bust measurement. And probably you do need the full bust measurement to determine the bust, but really the upper bust measurement to determine your size. And then you pick that measurement according to the pattern bust size. So many of you had my measurement chart, which is like 2 columns worth. So with this method, you don't need all of those measurements because you're just fitting the tissue on you and adjusting the tissue. So that Patty Palmer has also done many patterns with 𝗤𝗂𝗶𝗹𝘁𝗶. They're now under 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, which you might, if you've ever bought a pattern, it says Palmer Pletch on the front. That has all the adjustment lines that are used in this method for doing something like called a full bust measurement or high round back. I can go into those a little bit more. So some of these patterns have those lines on it to help you mark them. So in the workshop I went to, number one, it was taught by Pamela Leggett of Pamela's Pattern. So it was very exciting to meet her in person. And it was very fun. Every day she went through what she was wearing, what pattern, what fabrics. So that was a lot of fun too. A lot of extras. One extra she did also before the class. It wasn't part of the Palmer Pletch method. It was just hers, but we did a body form and fit that to our bodies. So all the fluff, she calls it. But anyway,
I have a question. Okay, so you said it's a lot of it is all about fitting, and you know, and how if you fit it, you know, it's better. It's not good loose, but it's better when it actually fits you. Yes. I get that. Yes. Now, why is it with sewing clothes like patterns? Why is it that like you're always like 2 or 3 sizes bigger than what you normally are? Yeah, why is that? It's based off a basic form that was developed, I think, in the 70s. So it's in all the major companies, the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 simplicity. Are all based off that same size. I call it the size no one is. Yeah. I wish it went the other way. Then I could be like, oh, yeah. So you're size 10. Generally, you don't even look at the size. You just go by measurements. Because yes, I'm about 2 sizes larger in patterns than I am in clothing street size. So okay. Yeah. So you really just wondered that. Ignore the size. It really means nothing. And even clothing sizes really mean nothing. The more expensive you pay for the more expensive the clothing, the smaller the size is going to be. So there's nothing really standard in the sizing. So it's really just based on your measurement. And all you really have to measure is the high bust measurement. And then you compare that to the bust measurement of the pattern, and you go with this. If you're a little between, you go with the smaller size. Especially if it's a multi-size pattern, it's sized for the larger size. So if you're close, it'll basically it will be too big in the shoulders. So for
blouses and dresses, you go with the upper bust measurement. And then you get a better fit in the shoulders. And so what we did in the so the tissue fitting method is you cut out the pattern closest to your measurement, and you pin it together. You pin and tape it. I won't go into the exact detail, but you pin and tape it, and then you put it on. So you get half a tissue fitting. And you start with looking at the back measurements, the back, whether you have a rounded back. You know, all of us change shape over the years. And whether you have like a full bust adjustment. So you alter the pattern. You start with the back, work your way to the front, and then you work your way down. And there's a whole checklist that we go through. And we use there is the Palmer Pletch Complete Guide to Fitting. And we will be getting some of these materials in the store. Some of the books, and I will be using them in the class, the basic one. But there are many books, and there's one for knits, there's one for jackets, there's one for pants. The fit class I did was not pants; it was just mainly the top and dress. We did a sheath dress, which so we fit the top, and you fit the top first, and then you work with the skirt and fit the skirt on it. That could be used as a sloper. So if you don't know what a sloper is basic. You get a pattern that's a basic fit. This was a sheath dress with a couple pleats in the front, and you may or may not need the pleats depending on, you know, where you have extra. So you can use a sloper you can use that basic pattern and make changes to it if you have a fit. So I think Pamela's thing is she buys less patterns because you find a fit like in a shirt, you change it. You want to change the neckline, you want to change the sleeve. You've got the basic fit of the garment to start with. So we did that. We did the sheath dress. That was the main first start of, because there were a lot of adjustments in that we learned. We did a princess seam dress, which has slightly different adjustments. And also I think I did about 5 or 6 patterns. So it was mainly fit. I think I cut one pattern out and fit the garment. And that was Pamela's pencil skirt that I did. It was a really easy fit. I wasn't even going to get a pencil skirt pattern because I'm not a pencil anymore. So
I can so relate
the
to
pattern's
that.
like, yeah, I'm not a pencil. I'm not even going to get that pattern. And I did. And she said, it doesn't matter if it fits well. It's good. Use a little bit more sturdier fabric. But so, and that was actually an easy fit. I just have to finish all these things. And then we did a fitted shirt with some darts. And I think that was it. I did about 6. Oh, I did her also perfect tea dress. I wanted to do at least one of her patterns as well. Now, independent pattern sizes, I mentioned the Simplicity, 𝗏𝗂𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏, they're kind of all based on the same model, like, and they have been for many years. But if you go to independent companies, which we mostly have at the store, like Pamela's, I think we have, what are some of the other ones we have? 𝗤𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏 and Company.
Yeah, we have a few.
I think we have a few other ones. They can be sized totally differently. And I always say Pamela sizes more for women than you will find in Simplicity. And there's usually less garments. And also with the knit patterns, I think there's tends to be a little bit of a less adjustment because the knit gives.
So Alice, so when you say, you know, like the Palmer Pletch method, it's really talking about the fit. Like she developed a certain way to fit with tissue. Now, when you're saying tissue, you mean that
now,
okay.
I don't always like to use the original pattern, so I usually copy mine first, but I did in her class because it just made it quicker. But I even like sometimes I'll copy it onto the red dot fabric, or I did actually get some of the medical paper. I saw the benefit of doing that. And then once you make all your adjustments, you might want to copy it in the nicer like red dot or Pamela's pattern paper for your finish, because it's all pieced when it's done and it looks a little messy maybe. So you might want to copy it once you're done with all the with the adjustments. But yes, you take the actual tissue pattern, like the front and the back. You pin you with the size that's closest to your size. You pin the shoulders, you pin the sides, and you fit it on you. You match up the back center seam and the front center seam. And then you can find where you might need more. And you start with the back, whether you have a round back or any adjustments in the back, because any of those adjustments are going to fit any adjustments in the front. So you do those first. And there's the specific ways of adjusting, like for a high round back, if you have a very rounded back. I don't know if Linda remembers, but I think I did one for her, and I couldn't quite get the pattern tissue to lay flat. And I said, I know this is wrong, but I'm not sure how to fix it yet. So,
so now you do.
Because I read a lot of different pattern fitting books. That's mostly what I read these days, are sewing books and pattern fitting books of different methods. So I use sometimes a little bit of both, measuring your body and measuring the actual pattern. But this one, you put the pattern right on. Once you make all the adjustments, once the adjustments made, it slips on really easily, and it should fit you pretty well.
So you put the tissue on you?
Right on your body. And you see where it wrinkles. And where it wrinkles, there's like a wrinkle dictionary. You can see where it wrinkles, and that might tell you, okay, I need more here. Like, so you want to see if the neckline's going to come up to your neck. Generally, I need a high round adjustment usually, because I have kind of a little dip in my neck. So you make those adjustments, and then you adjust the front. And if you need to add more to the side, even though, you usually fit on the top, a lot of us need more in the middle and down. Then you add what she called hunks of tissue. Palmer Pletch has a tissue, I think it's called Perfect Pattern Paper. It's a tissue with the grid on it. So it's the same consistency of the pattern tissue. And you can use that to add in pieces, and it's got a grid, so you need 2 inches. You can kind of easily see it on the paper because it's gridded. So you can just add pieces to the edge to add more into the sides, and then you get it adjusted so it meets in the back and in the front on you.
That is really interesting.
That's very interesting. I have read about it, but I'm like, oh, how am I going to remember all these adjustments? But getting it in person made more sense. Right. And we had actually my friend who stayed and did the teacher certification well, she didn't do the certification, but she stayed so we could have each other to work off of. She actually had scoliosis, so she was very interesting to fit. And Pamela actually came up with a method of hers that she can adjust every pattern, because she needs to make 2 different backs on every pattern because of the difference. Because she didn't want to accentuate the difference in her back, but kind of smooth it out a little bit. Or you want it to kind of fit, So.
That is very, very interesting. Oh my gosh. I just picture, when you're pinning with that tissue paper in a pattern, I feel like if I tried to put that on, I'd rip it.
Well, you do a little bit. So you tape, you use 1/2 inch tape, Scotch tape. It's a little bit narrower. You tape around the neckline, and you tape around the armhole, and then you trim it like you do trimming curves. So it opens that up a little bit around the neckline and the armhole. And the thing with the tissue, and probably the red dot paper is pretty lightweight too. You can see the wrinkles better where it fits and doesn't fit. Yeah.
Okay.
But you can, I mean, I think we're still working with the red dot. You can see where it does fit and where it folds and where it gaps, where you need an adjustment, either a pleat or a dart. So yeah. Actually putting the tissue on your body.
Okay.
Yeah. Half the body.
Like I do all that work and then I'd rip it.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, that's why you might want to, when you're all done, copy all the adjustments once you're done, because you cut the pattern to make adjustments and you add in paper. So when you're all done, it looks really complicated. So if you copy that off, which I did on one of mine, so you have less, then you just mark like your dart or whatever markings you actually need left.
So you do this now for every pattern you make?
Yes. It's time. It takes time. I mean, I've been doing it a little bit. We've done putting the pattern paper on. I think people will attest to what we've done in class. I've done, but now I'm know better some of the methods of doing it. So
right. Exactly. Yeah. Oh wow, that is really cool. How is Pamela? Isn't she nice?
She's lovely. She is just a lovely person.
Very, very
nice. She's very nice. So we had like 4 days intensives of this class. We did the body form the day before. I did that. Then did have one little day break. We went to New York City to the garment district. And of course, all of them know Pamela. I said, because you're famous. But she took us to really B&J's, Mood. I can't remember some of the other ones. A button one, but Butoni, I think it was called. It was all buttons, and there was one that was all ribbons, and there were some in like glass cabinets. She said some of those are older. Yeah, so it just like a whole wall of ribbons and trim, and it was amazing. Zippers. So that was pretty neat to have a guided tour to know where you go. A couple of the fabrics, like I think it was B&J's, that was the first, I think that was one of her favorites. They have the fabrics on hangers with a hang tag. So it's not the whole bolt. So there's just like garment racks of these hang tags. So your fabric's there and then you take it up and they go get the fabric.
And they go get it.
May or may not be at that location. Could be in a warehouse nearby, but yeah. So I got some awesome.
So you did get some fabric. Yeah. How can you not, right?
How could I not? Yeah. I got some for, I think, every garment I fit. So now I just have to have time to make them. And I've been working the floor so much, I haven't had no extra time. Yeah.
Gosh. And then you're babysitting your granddaughter.
Yeah. Nothing.
Like Linda says, yeah, Denise, I was thinking exactly that. She said that's an idea for angels to display more fabric, but we have no room to do that.
We would need that the warehouse also.
Yeah, we need oh my gosh.
Like a she shed,
but like Linda
like a she shed, but much larger.
Yeah, exactly. Like 10 times larger. But like Linda said, once you have that pattern that fits of that particular, because I've made a few things and I did it pretty good, and I'm like, oh, I'd like this in another another fabric. So you have that pattern
fit right
all the time, right? And it fits.
Like she like her perfect tee that I've done. She actually, and she gave us this other neckline. She did it almost like a boat, but with just a little slit down the front. She gave us that neckline also. She did that in cashmere, which was like $150 a yard.
Yikes. Oh my gosh.
And one other person did go get some cashmere. I'm like, well, yeah, I didn't quite do that, but I mean,
so does Pamela have?
I'm sorry. The same pattern can look so different just by changing the neckline, change the
Like,
sleeve.
or the
Like I want to use
sleeves.
it. I
Yeah.
have like a crisscross shirt that looks almost like a ballet wrap shirt that I really like.
Yeah.
I have one. And if you get the fit, you can just change that pattern because it already fits you.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Now, Pam, when you went to Pamela's, does she have a store?
It's like a house, actually. So her studio is,
But
it's like a cape. So
so do people go into, like, when you were there, does she have fabric to sell?
she has some. Yeah, she has some. I did not go to the basement. I meant to go down there. She stores a lot of stuff down there, but she has, so it's like a cape house is her shop. The like say
Oh,
the
okay.
like if you go into the left is the studio. It's pretty small. She has about 6 big tables. Well, she had kind of long, narrow ones. So this is what we need, a lot of big tables. So we didn't have machines mainly. Well, one person brought a machine. She's attended her fit class, so she did some sewing, but we were mainly just there to fit. So it would be fun to do some more sewing with her as well. But so she had like, there were 5 or 6 of us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us. So she had each of us had a really big table. We had something called a pinnable cutting mat, which I think I want to look for, because we actually pinned the pattern to make the adjustment, but we were also cutting with the little small rotary cutters.
Oh.
So you pin it kind of in place, you trim where you need to trim, and you add the tissue in. So I'm trying to find out from Pamela where she gets those. I do have the name of it, so maybe we can look for that. I did do it the other day. I did do it the other day on the cardboard mats we have, just with magnets to hold them in place.
Oh, yeah.
But you had to slip a cutting mat underneath.
Right.
To use the rotary cutter. Yeah.
Right.
So.
No, Linda is saying that T-shirt sounds like it would be a fun class. I think she's talking with the little slit.
Yeah, the little slit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so many variations with that shirt, which you've done. You've done a few classes on that, the perfect tee.
Yeah. Oh, I think I did like 3 or 4 last year.
Yeah, I think so.
In the middle of one right now. She's going to finish up in an open sew. The lace. Well, she didn't do the lace though, because it was her first time doing it. So I suggest if your first time, you need to do just the one fabric. But there's different variations on the lace you can do. So I also fit their perfect tee dress, and she actually has a video, Pamela says, with oh gosh, what's her name? She was a baby lock rep. She died a few years ago. Sewing with Nancy.
Ooh.
Nancy Seaman.
Okay.
So she did.
Oh, okay. Right.
Actually, so if you go to Pamela's pattern site, you can get a link to that video. I'm doing the perfect tee dress.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Which I've watched a couple different times. So that is one. I have many on the dock. I have about 10 things I want to do. Just getting them all done. I bought some Ponte knits because on the front of the pattern, it has a color block version. So first I'd like to do just one fabric to fit it. And then the color block version. Oh, nice. Second part of fitting, you do the tissue fitting, but you also have to fit your fabric, because fabrics are usually come out a little larger than the pattern, because it's the pattern tissue doesn't stretch. So there might be, but the adjustments will be small. Maybe like taking in the sides, maybe making sure the dart lays in the right place, because the fabric will lay differently than the tissue, but you'll be very close. So you do also some fabric fitting once you start sewing. And we've done that with the perfect tee. We based it kind of together, pin and fit, and make any adjustments. If it's big adjustments, we do make the adjustment to the pattern also.
Okay. So when you're talking about in May, you're going to do an informational kind of like So
lecture.
what?
Yeah.
Oh, a lecture, right?
So I'll describe the method, and I'll actually in detail describe how you make some of those adjustments. Like I mentioned, full bust adjustment, high round back. I'll talk about how we actually go through, and there's PowerPoint slides. Actually, Patty Palmer's in them, doing the, showing you samples of the fittings and what materials. Well, I'll try to have some of those materials ordered by then, so we have the books and some of the materials.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'll explain it, and then in June I'd like to do the first one, and I'll do a little bit of PowerPoint then too on the specific pattern. It's a classic fitted shirt.
Okay.
A good one to start with. And from there, let me know what you'd like to do. We can do like princess theme. That's a different adjustment. I will be using the book because it's hard to remember all those adjustments. I know as I was doing one, I did one. Thought I had it in my head, but so we have a chart and we mark down what adjustments you need and what page it's on in the book.
Okay.
Yeah. So once you've done it a few times, I'm sure you remember a few things. Because generally, you're going to probably have very similar adjustments in many in different patterns for your
right. It was very nice because I got 2 emails after you had come home. One of them was from Pamela, of course, talking about how great of a student you were, and she just loved you, and was really, really happy that you went. And then I also got one from Patty Palmer, which was really, really nice. She was just thrilled that you were there, and that we're going to be bringing it back to the store. So I thought that was really cool. That was very, very nice.
I'm actually the only Palmer Pletch teacher. I'm on their site now
in
New Hampshire.
Ah, very cool.
The next one's in Maine, and the next one's Connecticut is Pamela. Cool. In a 200 radius. Yeah.
That's really neat. And ladies, I think I've already told you this, but maybe if you didn't hear that Friday live or whatever, but I know the day that Alice came back, April and I are in the office and we hear the door ding, and we see her walking in, and she was on cloud, I don't know, 200. It was like, la! I mean, isn't that cool though when you go and you do those things? Like when I go to when I just did So Magical Expo, it was like a fun thing for me. Not that quilt market's not fun, because that I'm saying that about that too. Like it's just, you're doing what you love, and it's just so
it revs you up.
Yes. Yeah. It totally revs you up, and it's like, oh my gosh. So yes. Yeah.
I think
Does anybody have any questions for Alice?
I think I saw one down there. Was it a fitted shirt? Yes, would be a classic fitted button-down shirt. So we can now get the Palmer Pletch patterns. So we will be able to get the Butterick patterns. I can get them at anyway, we can talk about that. But we can get those patterns. I can get those patterns at least.
So is Butterick Palmer Pletch?
They have a line in Butterick that are Palmer Pletch. Not all Butterick are. I have the ones that are Palmer Pletch that have the markings on them.
Okay.
I'm going to see if I can show you a tissue adjustment. Let's see that I did. So you can kind of get an idea. Let me see. This is the front of a blouse. I don't know if you can see it if I stand up.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Oh, and there's all the tape, I think.
The adjustments. Yep. The tape.
Okay.
Of course, I have a heavy sweater on, so it's not going to fit me with this.
Right.
But yeah. But you see, all these lines on here are from the Palmer Pletch method. There are the fit lines that you use to cut on and add tissue into. So there's a whole line of patterns. I have some of the old McCall's ones that have Palmer Pletch method in them. They actually have some of their instructions in the pattern. So she's been doing that for, I think, since the 90s. And Patty Palmer's daughter I think it's Melissa has taken over doing it, and they're now through Butterick, any of the Palmer Pletch ones. So I can get those patterns, and we'll get some of those in the store.
Right.
And I have kind of like a little catalog of what ones are available. Also, we did talk about interfacings, and I can do a lecture on that at some point. Pamela basically said Pellon is not for garments.
Did you guys hear that? Yeah. You told us that the other day. That was interesting.
Yeah. So Patty and Pamela. Pamela is a regional teacher, one of the regional teachers. They have several regions. Patty Palmer is in Washington, the state of Washington, Vancouver, I believe. There's a school in Minnesota. I think there's one in Florida, and Pamela in Connecticut. I think that's it. There may be one more. Yeah. So those are the main regional schools. So, Pamela's been doing this for a long time, and she's been fitting. She gave us a little of her history since she was like 16, 17. She's got paid for fitting. So she's been doing it all her life. Yeah.
Wow.
This is
so the girls are also Denise was asking, would you use this technique for like the camp shirt?
Yes. Any garment.
Okay. So,
any garment.
So even if it's not a Butterick pattern.
Right. Even if it does have the Palmer Pletch lines on it. I think if we start with those, then you know where the lines are. Right. And the book shows you the lines. Like I did the perfect tea the other day with someone, and you had to add a couple lines, but I know where to add them. So.
Okay. So.
Yeah. I think if you start with them, that gives you a guide on where the adjustment lines are.
Right.
Like in Pamela's patterns that we've done the perfect tea, many of you've done that. Like she has the shoulder adjustment is one basic one she puts in.
Okay.
And that one. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, this is really I'm very excited for you to start teaching a couple of those classes. Would be great. Yeah. And I know a lot of the ladies here are excited also, I can see. How about if you tell us some of your other classes happening at Angels?
Oh yeah, one last thing. I did meet Patty Palmer too. So
you did?
Yes, I online like this.
Zoom?
So yes, on Zoom they have.
Cool.
Basically, it's called I'm a Palmer Pletch CSI. I don't know if you ever watched the CSI show.
I do.
I thought that was funny, but it's certified sewing instructor.
Cool.
So I have a couple logos for that. But so they have, I guess, a monthly meeting or bi-monthly meeting. And I was introduced at this last meeting. I watched it in the store the other day when I was there. That's
right.
Patty Palmer was, yeah. So
I didn't know that. So that's her that was doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Met her also. So, and a couple of the people that teach and have written some of the books with her. And then some of the women that have been teaching for many, many years. So that was awesome. Yeah.
Oh, fun. She looks like
questions from some seasoned people.
Yeah. You look like me when she was just talking, ladies. Doesn't she look like me when I talk about Tula Pink?
Yes. I met some stars. I've been reading her books for a few years. Now they're starting to make sense.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So some of the other classes I do have scheduled. I have been working the floor more, so we haven't had time to.
I know we have to get her off the floor. I got to get you off the floor. I know.
I'm on there a bit in April. I think one week. I think everyone's away. It's going to be Lori and me and you in April. I think.
I know. That's going to be
just like looking at that week. So anyway, I do have a computer know-how class coming up on a Saturday, March 30th. It's the day before Easter. Maybe not the best day. Hey, it's a busy week for me too. I have 4 services that week.
Yes.
Musically, 2 to 4 in the afternoon. And I will say about classes, if you see a class that I'm doing, that's sometimes I do garment classes during the week. Sometimes I do them on Saturdays for people who work. if you see a class that it's not at a time, say I have it during the week and you need it on a Saturday, just let us know. If I get enough people to sign up, we'll add another class on a Saturday. Because I've had people say that, well, I would like to do that class, but I work during the week. And so just let us know. That's just my class. Speaking of which, I also have had requests for bag classes, Carol.
Yes, I'm actually working on a bag right now.
And just the other day on the floor, somebody was asking about that.
Oh, good.
So I said, I think they're coming.
Yes.
I do have FTCU, which is the Floriani Total Control software. I have a few ladies who bought it last spring, I guess, and we had one class already. We have another one on April 6th from 2 to 4. If you get in touch with me and you want to touch base with that, it's kind of like the basic using of the software. You can kind of see where I am. There are these lessons that you can download and catch up to where we are. And then I think the route, I had some ladies last year, the route they wanted to go is to go doing a project in FTCU and then stitching it out. So I think we were down to a Saturday. It would probably have to be over a couple Saturdays.
That's a great idea, Alice.
Yeah.
Doing it like that, with a project like.
Yeah, so they seemed more interested in that than doing the lessons that you can actually download. I mean, I try to add extras to that, but
right. Yeah. That's what Persis did when she just did the IQ designer class, and they did projects like the second day,
right?
Which is cool because then you can practice what you're
you get something fun
learning.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good idea.
So then I have been working on putting together a serger class. I haven't quite gotten it formulated yet, but the first one I do want to do is geared towards garments. So different kinds of seaming and hemming for garments. So it probably won't be an actual project, but more like a technique class. Then I would like to move that into a project class. I do have a sampler I did with a baby lock training, which I have to finish that one, but it goes through and uses different feet and the accessories. So I'd like to do something like, it's a sampler basically, doing different things like ruffling and ruching and piping.
Yeah, fun.
Or something, or I have a couple serger books that have projects in them. Years back, we had a few classes like that were based on a project. I think people enjoy those.
Yes.
With the project based. And I still need to get back to the heirloom. If you're interested in that, let me know if I should do it during the week or on a weekend. I've had people interested in the past. The next thing I had the baby bonnet that didn't seem to take, so I don't know if it was the project or the day of the week it was on. So I think I'm going to do a pillow next with some of the different stitchings, and I have different projects we can do, and I can move that. I was thinking maybe by next fall. There is a sampler quilt that we could do as a block of the month. There's a different kind of heirloom technique in each block. So that's
kind of cool.
So, if you start and sign up, people say, well, I don't know enough to do heirloom. It's beginning heirloom. If you can run your machine, you can do the class. You're going to learn to do it. That's the basic of I think people got scared and thought they needed to know more, but you don't. That's what you're going to learn.
See, that's good to know. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And I got this from the Martha Pullen. I do have a certification with the Martha Pullen, different sewing techniques. Not all of it was heirloom, so I do have some other fun projects. Some based using different rulers, and so. But that's one, and I was hoping to get some pants in by April. We'll see if I can get them done this weekend because April's like in a couple weeks. So.
Yeah, April's kind of busy at the store, Alice. We have
is. Yeah, there's 2 days later in the month. Yeah. So
let's kind of probably shoot for May.
Yeah.
Like Linda just said, so many projects, so little time.
So little time, yes. Yes, because I have a list. I have a list of about 3 pages of garments and different classes. I have wanted to do, and they're sitting staring at me, staring back at me, not getting done. But and somebody also asked me to do a pillow class with like a piped in zipper back pillow, so there's all these little things that come
Right.
across. Yeah.
But let us know, like Alice said, the day of the week too, whichever one, might work better. We do like to know that because, it's funny because sometimes we'll think, okay, well, not Saturday. I think they want during the week, and then they don't want during the week, and then they want Saturday.
Right.
Sundays are good. Well, you have your
I'm busy on Sunday. That's
music on Sundays. Yeah.
The afternoon is pretty much my nap time.
Let me get out I'm going to give you a trivia question.
Sure. And are there any more questions? Or
I don't think so. Denise just said she'd like some garment classes because that's why she got her serger, which is
awesome.
Which is great. That's like on my bucket list. I've been saying that now, I think, for 2 years. But anyway.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So the trivia is, I have such a hard time coming up with trivia questions. It's, I don't know, but you're going to win my package that I just received today. It's got some really cool,
pretty colors
material in here. It's all bees. It's like black and yellow and gray, all bee motifs. Anyway, the question is, I figured because we are having Alice on, the first one that answers correctly, what is Alice's granddaughter's name? I kind of mentioned her before, and I didn't want to say her name. Mm-hmm. So while we're doing that, I also want to let you guys know that next week we'll also be talking with someone. We're actually going to be talking with 2 people. We're going to talk next week with Mary Beth and Amy. You need to spell it correctly.
No. Yeah, it's not spelled correctly, but it's close.
I know that was like, well, it might not be easy for some of you,
We went to the store today too.
Oh, that's right. And they visited the store.
Yeah. We took a picture with Sophia. Yeah. I'll put it on my Facebook page.
Yes. So next week we're going to be joined with Mary Lou and Amy. They are doing they have started doing their YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's a YouTube channel. And YouTube channel. The floss tube. Yes. So we're going to be talking with them next week. So that'll be really fun. So look forward to that next week. What else was I going to say? Just wanted to remind you, Alba is here this weekend. You can still sign up for some demos if you haven't. There's a couple of openings. She's doing them on Saturday, and she's doing them on the long arm, the DX series, the 2000, 3000, and 4000, and then the sergers. So, and like I always say, it's for people that are thinking, like, let's say you're thinking about getting a serger, come and listen to her demo on the sergers. If you have a serger, come and listen to her on the sergers. I guarantee you will learn something. Same with the other demos. And all Juki in the store will be on sale. So, so keep that in mind. And yeah. So I believe it was, who was it that won it? Yeah, Linda won it. So I'll have that at the store for you, Linda. I think, can you think of anything else to say about the store, Alice, that I didn't?
The quilt expo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The expo's coming up in April. What else is in April? Oh gosh, our retreat. Whew. Yeah. April's busy. We have our retreat coming up, and I believe there are still openings for Saturday only. It is completely full for sleepovers. So yeah, I'll see everybody on Friday at our live on Friday. We also have Albert in the store doing employee trainings, and I believe Mary Lou's going to be in the store on Friday for that.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so yeah. So thank you, Alice, so much.
Thank you.
Love that.
Thank you for sending me.
Yes. You're very welcome. Oh my gosh. And I'll talk to April about getting you off the schedule so you can get your samples going.
I know.
So yeah. So thank you.
Maybe
Thank
after
you,
April.
All right. So bye everybody. I'll see you all soon. Thank you, Alice. Bye.
Welcome. Thank you.